of Virginia said they wanted to be able to redraw the maps in order to have their own vision expressed, their own voices heard. The Supreme Court said it goes against their Constitution. And you know what? Texas and Mississippi and Tennessee and Louisiana, they didn't even put it to the people to vote on it. They just unilaterally did it. And there you have it. That's why I need a psychologist in studio with me to help me just sort of navigate these choppy waters of existence. Look, Dr. Suzana Flores joins us. She is an author. She's a psychologist. She's the founder of NOLA Wellness.
Yes.
Go to NOLA-wellness.net.
Yes.
And if you have any, can you not hear through your headphones? You're good. But there are other headphones if you need them. I'll make sure that you have what you need, everybody. You're good. Hi. I'm so glad that you're here today. These are challenging times.
These are, to say the least. Psychologists have been very, very busy. Is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've been very busy. Like a part of our work, this is kind of funny. We usually say, like we're not going to... we're not going to focus on the news. We're not going to talk politics. Like, we don't do that. We don't do whatever. It has become near impossible to maintain that rule. If someone's coming in for trauma, this is like complex trauma, like prolonged distress, right? That's what complex PTSD is, as opposed to regular PTSD. People dealing with, immense distress, like, feeling trapped, with, tons of information over and over and over that's causing you anxiety. It's like, we have to talk about it in session. There's no way around that, and it's like, well, okay, I know that we're not supposed to talk politics, but the thing that's traumatizing is Trump, is, like everything that he's saying, like, just opening my news app every single morning is, affecting me. So, yeah, we have to deal with it every day.
Every day. Well, because the policies affect us in fundamental ways. And I was thinking about this yesterday. I was driving through the lakefront area from Foster all the way up to Belmont, and I was thinking about like how much immense wealth. I mean, this is like any other big city. We have immense wealth and we have extreme poverty. And I'll give you an example. There's the mayoral race in Los Angeles. This guy Spencer Pratt, who apparently is like a reality TV star. I have no idea who he is, but basically his platform is, I shouldn't have to see homeless people. Now, and so he videotapes homeless people, like, passed out on this, like all kinds of images of people in their way. Like they have to step around them and look at this. So, all these really, and what's interesting is that when I was little, I remember there were neighborhoods that I would look at the houses and go, I wish I lived there, kind of a thing, right?
We all did that.
We have that, right? And now that I'm older and I know how much things cost, whether it's property taxes or heating a house and cooling a house and cleaning a house, like all those things, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good with my 2-bedroom apartment. I'm good, right? You had a beautiful place that I used to enjoy, right there in New Orleans. Like
right.
That, to me, that's joy, right?
Right.
Like even your place, I'm like, these feelings are high. Like, how much does that cost? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think now. It's like, what's affordable, what's practical, those kinds of things. So what I don't get, so when I see a big mansion now, I'm like, what a waste of resources. And when I see someone who's homeless, I think, what can we do to help? How can we minimize the pain that this person is suffering? And maybe they're not, like, because some people do want to, like, they feel as though they shouldn't have to. There's a wide range of reasons why people are homeless. The reason why people have extreme wealth is because we subsidize them, we don't tax them. Because behind every great fortune is a crime. Anyway,
follow the money.
Follow the money.
Right.
So anyway,
I have the same thought too. It's like, like when I see especially like in New Orleans, when we see like the really big mansions, they're beautiful, right? First thought is like, I wouldn't know what to do with that much space. Yeah. Second thought is, I'm not cleaning that. You know, but obviously you would have someone to clean it for you. Yeah. But it's just like, do you really need all of that?
Right.
Do you honestly, like, okay, it's like 10 bedrooms. What are you going to do with all of that?
Exactly.
Right, and you're absolutely right. You could use it for other, causes. But
the amount of water it takes, everything that we apparently what the Republican Party in my mind seems. And look, I know there are Democrats and liberals who have wild wealth. This is one of the things that they would talk about. Let's say Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Okay. That he has, he talks about the environment and he drives a Prius and yet he's got a private jet, or he's, all these different ways. Al Gore. This was why a lot of people in Tennessee thought that he was a hypocrite. Was, he would talk about, the environment and, melting ice caps. And yet he has this property that takes up all these resources, right? So I get that there are Democrats who are hypocrites.
Yes.
And so it comes down to the humanity of, to me, what is it in the brain that sees somebody who is homeless and thinks, well, how disgusting, they shouldn't exist. And other people are like, oh, I wish I could help. What can I do to make this better? Right?
When you are privileged, equality feels like oppression.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, bumper sticker right there. Right? Yeah. Yeah. When you are privileged, you don't want anyone to have anything else because then it feels oppressive to you. So that's what privilege is.
Oh, I see. So that's why DEI has to be eliminated.
Exactly.
Well, which is interesting. Is interesting. One of the Supreme Court members actually benefited from affirmative action and doesn't want that to exist for anybody else.
We all know we all know who you're talking about, right?
Yes. Well, Clarence Thomas has been very honest about wanting to destroy liberalism. He hates liberalism. And I have been in rooms where I know I was there, that the door was cracked open for me because I'm a woman and I'm a Latina, and then I prove myself.
Right.
I don't go, kick that door shut. No one else should have what I got. That's not, I just don't see it that way. But he does. He resents that everyone knows, oh, they all knew I was there, and the assumption was I'm not as smart as everybody else. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that we would call that is internalized racism. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you are a minority and you really don't want to be, or you believe that you're better than. And so you try to make it more difficult for everybody else. But it's like, well, I don't want to give anybody the same breaks that I received. So it's like super hypocrisy, but again, it's privilege, egotistical mindset and narcissism.
Yeah. And so we've talked about narcissism quite a bit.
Yes.
We've talked about
it's everywhere. We are all functioning under the umbrella, of narcissism right now.
Yeah. And, people, come across somebody maybe in a tangential way. Maybe it's somebody they work with or somebody they have to deal with, even like in a restaurant or something. Maybe you're in a bar and you notice somebody who's a narcissist that walks by that from Facebook.
Right.
So we can talk about this because there's no chance in hell that Joyce is going to be listening to the show. There's a police officer that I know from social media. Well, actually, I knew her in person. We used to play softball together. That's so I couldn't talk to you. Susie and Rue and I were all hanging out at a neighborhood joint, and I saw someone I used to play softball with. I used to be friendly with. Actually, my neighbor introduced us. They're all either police officers or police adjacent. I grew up around police officers. I would never want anything bad to happen to her. Right. I care about her. I care about my neighbor, Jen, and her husband,
human
Vince.
to human. Right.
Right. I love all of them. And when I express myself, that we're going to disagree on some of these things. Yeah.
Attack. Like full on attack.
Oh, my one friend called me. She's like, hey, let's grab some drinks. And while we were having drinks, she was like, I'm so disappointed in you for marching for Black Lives Matter. And I was
That's so sad. That speaks volumes. Okay, first of all, you even feel the need to bring that up, right? Or whatever, right? But I mean, all of it is sad. I could go on and on, but how? Wow.
But isn't that
barely have words for that?
But isn't there a form of so someone apparently has an issue with the fact that I talk about this show from a personal point of view. Politics to me are personal. So it's
personal to all of us, yeah.
Right. So my filter is to tell you how it affects me. And so I'll give you another example. Yesterday I was talking about, and I think that you might have had this experience. Did you go to Catholic schools or
yes,
public schools?
Psychologist. Yes, I did.
So kindergarten through high school?
And survived. No, through college. Well, Loyola, if you want to count.
Oh, my goodness.
If you want to count that. Yeah, but I will never wear plaid ever again. No plaid skirt, no plaid anything. Those white socks, right? The little white socks that we had to wear, give me nightmares, right? I can't do it.
So I was talking yesterday about how kids I feel like Gen X, they always talk about how Gen X, we drank from the fire hose and we came in when the lights, the street lights came on.
Yeah.
It was much more than that.
We're rapid, right?
We're rabid.
Yeah, we're rabid, yeah.
And we talk about our parents sort of hands off, but I think it was also our teachers, because my teachers all taught, because it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and believe me, I'm very grateful for the teachers in my life. Yes.
There's no career more noble than being an educator.
Exactly.
Thank you all.
Yet, I was struggling yesterday trying to think of my favorite teachers because the only ones I remember were the ones who taught through humiliation and shame.
That's a huge amen. No, like I treat that. I treat that.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's gotten better now. I think that teachers,
Oh, definitely. I think like Gen X was one of the last generations to be whooped.
Yes,
right?
I was whooped.
Yeah. I remember I was grabbed by the hair, right, and dragged. It was kindergarten, and it was just like, oh, yeah, it was really bad. It was like, what was her name? Sister Leontine, right? Still remember, right? And it was just like, and then you tell your parents, right, or they tell your parents for you, and then you get disciplined again, right? And it's like, okay, do you want to know the story? Okay, I was drawing a butterfly, and I wasn't supposed to be drawing a butterfly. That's why that happened.
No,
but see, it proves your point. I have a very vivid image of that, right? And like I'll never forget that, right? Exactly, because I was like 4 or 5 years old, and then you think back, and you're like an adult, and you're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
It was like, that's insane.
Yes.
There's like, you put like crayons and, a butterfly in front of a little kid and you're like, okay, don't draw it. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So then I drew it. And then something like that. So anyway, I forgot the point. What was the point of what we were talking about?
I think that
Gen X was the last, right? One of the last generations to have it.
To have corporal punishment in schools.
Right.
And I think that
as a norm. Right.
Yeah. I've told this story before. And I also went to a Lutheran grade school for 3 years to get away from the kids that were bullies at my public school. But the teachers there also taught through humiliation. That's a longer story too. But at the Lutheran school, I had a teacher, let's call him Mr. Zielinski, because that was his name. And he would paddle us. And when he paddled you, he would give you the choice between two different paddles. One was called Big Ben. It was a heavy oak paddle. It was like about this. It was about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches thick, heavy.
And
oak.
named it.
Little Ben, Big Ben, Little Mo, and Big Ben were the names. The other one was Pine, and it had holes. So I think he was teaching us physics because it's harder to swing the big oak paddle, and the small Pine had more aerodynamic, and he could swing it faster. And
so disturbing.
Yeah, he would let you choose. It was a whole production. It was a whole theatrical thing of, choose. At any rate, the reason I bring these things up about Gen X, because people talk about the fact that we're not as engaged, that we're not, we haven't had a presidential candidate. Like Kamala Harris, was the one presidential candidate we were hopeful. And I think she's on the outer limits of Gen. I think she's like an elder Gen X, just at the cusp.
Okay.
Right? I think she's 60, 61?
I do believe that's still Gen X. Yes.
Yeah, I think she's Gen X. But at any rate, that our generation isn't, there's something about us that isn't, it's not that we let this all happen, but I think we were kind of lulled into thinking it couldn't. Right? That this moment couldn't happen, where we have Jim Crow again, where abortion rights, we were lulled into this.
That's why a lot of people cried at the election, because we believed that we had grown as a nation, right? And that we had moved forward and that we had learned. And as it turns out, not so much.
Right.
That I really believe that's why we had all the tears, because it's like, this is who we are, and it's like the illusion was smashed.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't gone anywhere, apparently.
I heard these ladies in the neighborhood who run the thrift store, and they were talking about, I could hear them behind the curtain. And I told you earlier, it's a very conservative area. And my heart was swelling because they were talking about these kids just don't know what it was like to, come out of World War II and what fascism really looks like and all these things. And I thought they're right. We were all kind of, and not kids, but our generation, we saw the people who endured what happened in Vietnam, the Civil Rights Act. The fact that Martin Luther King is not even anywhere near, these people are just crapping all over all the things that he stood for, whether it's in Tennessee.
And they love it.
They do.
They love it. They love the destruction of it all.
What is it? What's the emotion that we're all feeling? It's that
disgust.
Absorbing the fact that this is the reality.
Sadness, disgust, frustration, grief. Yeah. We're grieving again. It's grieving over the illusion, right? That we had progressed. It's hard. It's a very hard reality.
Yeah. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it. None of us do. It's just very sad. And so, like, we're in a constant state of depression and what we call, like, learned helplessness. Like, we do, like, okay, apparently this is our fate.
Yeah.
And so if we weren't in learned helplessness, like, completely accepting our situation and not trying to change it, like, we'd be protesting every day. But we're tired, and it's like we're being hit and hit from all different corners, from all different angles, and we're exhausted.
Yeah.
And we're still in somewhat of a disbelief, like a numbing disbelief. And yet it is.
And it's reality. We're in studio with Dr. Suzana Flores. She is the founder. She is the psychologist that you can work with at NOLA Wellness. Go to nola-wellness.net to learn more about the work that she does. If you want to give us a call, Lady B, we can open the phone lines if you'd like. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. That's the number that you can call or text during our show. We'll be here for a bit, and then I have some interviews coming up that we recorded. We're going to talk to our friends from the Forest Preserve of Cook County, and we'll also talk to State Senator Cristina Castro. Will be joining us a little bit after 6. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Think Theory Radio.
We're joined by Allie Mae Miller, hypnotherapist.
Hypnosis is portrayed in media in general. Manipulation, mind control. People think it's like a truth serum. My clients describe it as they're in control the whole time. It's definitely not a truth serum. The client decides what they share with me, even in a state of hypnosis.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
WCPT replay.
Speaking with Wendell Young, the vice chairman of the Chicago Wolves, and he is the newest inductee in the 2026 AHL Hall of Fame class.
There's one goalie in particular that I think you had a front row seat for history, and that's Manon Rheaume when she became the first female NHL player in that preseason game.
I walk into the rink, and Phil and Tony Esposito, when they're kind of talking, they're like, we got to put Manon in. Everyone's here. The rink is packed. All the media's here. But what happens if she plays bad? And I go, this is your worry. They go, you're going to play the first 2 periods, Wendell. She's going to play the third. And I go, you're going to let her sit around for 3 or 4 hours, worrying, being stretched, warm up, and then tight, and then have to go in and waiting for that. I go, start her. If things don't go well for her, I go 10 minutes in. I said, I'll go in and just say that was our plan. We're just splitting the periods. And then I go, that's your out. So she goes in and plays unbelievable. I go in, and the rink starts chanting, put the girl back in.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. Joining me in studio is Dr. Suzana Flores. She's a psychologist and the founder of NOLA Wellness. Go to nola-wellness.net. You can also find her book, 2 books, Face Hooked and Wolverine, the psychology of Wolverine.
Untamed, the psychology of Marvel's Wolverine. I analyzed him as if he were real, right, as a real traumatized character.
And I feel like we could all be Wolverine at this point.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we're all full of rage.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you know what I wonder too, and I hadn't prepped you for any of the conversation we're having.
True.
What I don't understand is MAGA has everything they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've captured all three branches of the government.
Mm-hmm.
Their policies are being enacted, whether it's eliminating Democratic positions in southern states and things like that. Why are they still so angry if they've got everything they want?
They're gloating at this point. I mean,
but telling me to shut up isn't even gloating. Like, they want me to shut up. And I don't get
once
that.
again, privilege, right? Like, so anything that counters them is a threat, including your voice, including all of our voices, right? And so, like, anytime that we say anything, it's just like they want to put us in our place because they want to control us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's all about power and control. Just like being a narcissist, the only thing that they really care about is control and power.
Yeah,
and attention. I'll add that one, and attention.
Yeah, I used to work at another place where, like, the station manager would go out of their way to tell me negative things that other people were saying about me, and I was like, why do I need to know?
Speaks to his insecurity, or his or her insecurity.
Yeah. I'm just like, why do I need? Like, okay, so what would you like me to do? Well, I don't agree with them, but I just want to tell you, okay, but it's not. Like,
okay. Exactly. If you didn't agree with them, then why are we having this conversation?
Exactly. It's so weird.
Yeah. It's like you're a little transparent there.
Right. They're telling you what they think by putting it under the guise of what somebody else said.
Right. So
without the evidence of the thing, the post or the text or the phone call, they're just telling you what they really think.
Right. But in that they're exactly, they're telling you what they really think. So it's just like me saying, Patty, it's not that I'm mad at you. Right? Chances are I'm mad at you. Right? I'm angry at you, right?
Sorry, are you mad?
And that's called splitting. There's another technical term, right? So if I say, like, our friend, Ruri here, right? Like Ruri is really angry at you. That's like me saying, like, I'm angry at you, but I can't really say that because I still want to be the good guy. So some other person said something bad about you.
Yes.
And that's like a way of just telling you that you suck, or that I think that you suck, right? Without me actually saying it. So it's like, oh, so-and-so believes. I'm sure we've all gone through that, right? Managers, coworkers, whatever. Oh, this person thinks that you're not doing a good job. When it's, in fact, most of the time it's them.
Yes.
So they just want to say that to you.
So how do we manage that? How does a person receiving that information, because this happens to everybody.
Well, you smile and nod, and then you just keep doing whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Right? And so you're just like, okay, thank you for your opinion, whatever, right? I always like to say, I understand. Some people know what that means. That's code for a lot, right?
I understand.
Right?
And I would end it with "go in grace."
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're from the South, right? Bless your heart, right? Bless your heart. But it's like, I understand. Well, you understand what I'm like. Nah, I understand that that's what you believe. I understand.
Let's see. We have a police officer calling from North Carolina. Is that right? South Carolina. Lee is calling from South Carolina. Hey, Lee, you're on the air with me and Dr. Suzana Flores. What's on your mind, my friend?
I just wanted to comment and honestly agree with you on your take on cops, even friends of yours. It's paramilitary, so it's you got to be conservative. You will be ostracized if you're not. I don't share my political views too terribly often. I do know there was another guy in a platoon that I was in that was he admitted that he was a Democrat and he was picked on, but even he had to kind of keep himself away from me as a Bernie supporter. So I marched with Black Lives Matter before I became a cop. I joined law enforcement after George Floyd was murdered. It's I don't know if it's just, you don't admit who you are when you're in a crowd, or if that's how people really are, but it's pretty toxic. It's pretty much the worst of MAGA is in policing.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I have heard that. I've also had friends and clients and associates that have said something very similar. It's like if you deviate, then you become a target.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I've been in like pretty much every form of EMS, and it can be worse. That's why I left the fire department, because I would rather be in a car by myself versus in a firehouse with between 4 and 16 rednecks. So it's much better. At least now I get to be left alone. I know working in an ambulance, that tends to be a little bit more left-leaning, which also coincides with the amount of education they need. But it's fire and policing is extremely right-wing.
It's a shame.
It must be challenging, yes, working in an environment like that.
The good thing about being a cop is I'm pretty well left alone, so that's I like that part of it. I know who they are, and I stay away from them. They stay away from me. As long as I don't do anything wrong in my job, I get to do policing the way it should be done.
Well, thank you for what you do every day. Very grateful to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Be well, sir. Take care, Willie. Take care. Let's take a break here. We'll continue with your calls at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. I also want to thank our sponsors at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put your order in for the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you will ever have. Every single cup of coffee tastes like a love letter in a mug. And they'll be at the Jefferson Park Sunday Markets with us all summer long, where I volunteer. The 2nd and 4th Sundays of the month, right there, just Jefferson Park at Lawrence and Long, near the Jefferson Park Post Office and Library. Again, go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. You heard Peter Sorellis and Warren Price on the air yesterday talking about your opportunity to make an appointment and perhaps see if solar panels are right for your house or business. Again, that's source.solar. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Peter, and see if your house or business is right for solar panels. And thank you to our friends at Are You Really Winning? Go to areyourreallywinning.com. And if you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling problem, please know there is no shame in asking for help. I wish that resources like this were available when my father was struggling with his addiction, and I'm proud to work with areyourreallywinning.com and the way back in. You can also call 1-800-GAMBLER or text 1-800-GAMBLER if you need some help. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. And hi on Facebook and YouTube, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 51 degrees and south winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, we'll see a slight chance of showers, especially late in the day, with a high of 72 degrees and northwest winds at 10 to 20. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 57 and northeast winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Monday, sunshine with a high temperature at 54. Tuesday, showers and storms with a high of 65. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 66.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
It's the Democracy, Stupid, with Edwin Eisendrath.
Americans in the founding generation didn't fail to build a palace. They chose not to build a palace. George Washington designed the Oval Office, well, its predecessor, so that hierarchies of rank weren't built into gatherings in the space. Trump's Golden Ballroom is the architectural repudiation of those egalitarian ideals.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. on WCPT 820.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
News for those Chicagoans heading up to southern Wisconsin. Should you ever forget to load up on progressive brews from the local favorites like Rogers Park Provisions or Park West Liquor in Lincoln Park, Minocqua Brewing Company beer is now conveniently available at Dream Liquor and Cigar in Kenosha and in the Lake Geneva area at Delavan Liquor and Smoke in Delavan. If the great town of Madison, Wisconsin is your jam, please remember to swing into the Minocqua Brewing Company tap room at 2927 East Washington Avenue to grab some Resistance beer, pizza, t-shirts, and progressive camaraderie.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us to continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. Thank you to our friends who are tuning in on KKNW 1150. Joining me in studio is psychologist and author Dr. Suzana Flores. You can go to NOLA-wellness.net to learn more about the work that she does. And she also has two books called Once Face Hooked. She called the brain chemistry screwing up that we were all going to experience over a decade ago.
Yeah.
She also wrote the book Untamed, The Psychology of Marvel's Wolverine. And she has been at conventions. You can go to all the places where you buy your books to look for the book, including the one where you'll get the smiley face on the box. I still order from Amazon sometimes too, because that's where you get stuff from. There's a lot of independent creators who also benefit from having their items on that marketplace.
Yes.
So excellent. Yes. Excellent. I'm excited that we're going to see Elliot Serrano. He was not able to. Did you see that a dog got off the property at Orphans of the Storm?
Yeah, did they find the.
I hope so.
I hope so.
So he's running a little bit late. Elliot Serrano hopefully will join us soon. It's his birthday this week.
Yay.
So
Happy birthday.
We're going to buy him a slice of pizza.
Okay.
That's how we treat our friends real good here in Chicago. You want a slice? Get you a slice.
And a beer.
A slice and a beer. Jim is calling in from Chicago. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, hi, Patty. But the phone was dead for a while. Virginia was a nightmare. Huh? What's with these courts? They, you know. The other thing is the people have labored under the social pyramid since the monarchs. That was the system we had. They labored under that, you know. But everybody ends up at the bottom of the pyramid sooner or later. The point is, Thomas Paine addressed this in Common Sense.
Yeah.
He said you're being ruled by thieves and murderers, and it was true. I mean, through heredity, these people rule the world. And what's happening here with Spain, they got away with it for about 40 years. Franco got away with it for 4 years, but it reverted right back to democracy. So I'm just hoping, I mean, I'll be dead, but the point is we have to suffer. The way these courts are going, we might have to suffer for 30 or 40 years, especially if these two nuts, these two old timers get really, and Trump gets two teenagers on the court.
Yeah.
I mean, think of the nightmare this would be. So any kind of Democratic policy will be just squashed. And the other thing is, what about Vance, that screwball Vance? He comes out with, I don't know if he channeled Charlie Kirk in a seance or what, but he said 190.
I'm sorry, what did Vance do? Go ahead.
Yeah, but he came out with, he had the nerve to say 197, where he got this figure, God only knows, 197 dead people are collecting food stamps. Now, that is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life. First of all, Patty, please believe me, they know if you've got a pimple on your nose when you go to get food stamps. So, I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous.
So,
but go ahead, Dave.
I remember this last year. I never put the video up of my mom. My mother was a computer programmer for the Railroad Retirement Board.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she actually was she was considered an essential employee during Y2K because she knows COBOL. And when Doge came in, they said, "Oh, look at all these people still on the on the roll, still whatever." And she said, "Yeah, because we kept people in the system because we didn't eliminate them, but they were marked as no longer receiving benefits because they were deceased." It's the same thing that happens on voter rolls. They'll say, "Oh, there are dead bodies, like there's dead people on these rolls," but they're marked with no longer active. Okay. So they don't receive that. So my guess, Jim, is that that's the same thing that's going on with these 136,000 dead people that he claims are still receiving SNAP benefits.
You're right, but it's convenient, Patty. It's a convenient, idiotic.
Yep.
excuse to say that. So what? So the millions of people that are trying to get SNAP in a time when their groceries are going through the ceiling can't get it. And real quick about the homeless. Mother Teresa, and she was working with the Untouchables in India, and a rich woman from America came there and said, "What can I do for these people, sister? What can I do?" She says, "Never mind these people. Go back to the United States and help your own family. Help your own families out." Now, I took a couple of homeless people in, Patty.
No, that's wonderful.
No, but the point is, I'd say, here, use my phone. Can you get a hold of anybody? No, my mother doesn't talk to me. My father, they threw me out. My point is, how brutal can you be? Your own flesh and blood you're throwing out on the street. But somehow we're numb.
I know.
We're dumb to this.
And look, if there's 186,000 people receiving SNAP benefits, I'm sure they're more than happy to not receive them anymore. I don't know. I'm sure we can stop those payments if that's. I mean, like what?
Yeah, we could all get it. But what happened? What's with this court? What's with this court thing?
I know.
I can't believe this baloney. But they'll let the Republicans run wild.
I can't believe it has been on our minds since God knows how long, right? And we have to start believing it, right? Like, because this is the reality. And I hear you. That makes, it makes sense. Like, I can't believe it either. And yet it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a cinch. The midterms were supposed to be a cinch. And now they'll spend 2 months throwing everybody up for grabs. And we'll have to sweat it out. This is too much. Anyway,
it has been an amazing takeover. An incredible takeover. An insane takeover, yes.
Yep.
Happy Mother's Day, Patty. And you
appreciate that.
If you've got any children. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
I like Jim a lot.
Oh, I know. Here's the thing. Such the biggest soft spot in my heart. And he reminds me so much of my dad.
He's adorable and smart. I like him a lot.
And he's passionate. I think that's the thing too. Yeah. There's somebody who there was somebody who resented that I would take either Jim's call first or long or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that your name was on the show.
Last time I heard.
I'm sorry. I must have missed that in the production meeting of when your name was on the show.
I could have sworn that it was mine.
And I get that people listen for a long time, but the sense of entitlement that people have to like my life and my voice. Yeah. I didn't see them in the production meeting. Like, this is what makes me happy. This is what gets me through sometimes the 2 hours of having to talk about things. Like, I spend all day, right? Whether it's making videos, selling ad time, talking about, like, this is a lot. And my family, it's a lot.
Yes, it is.
So, at any rate, for anybody. By the way, I do want to thank Greg from Lake of the Hills. Says that he's been a longtime WCPT listener since his station's startup days. He's an alum of the now non-existent Gordon Tech High School of 1976. At Lane Tech was right down the street from Gordon Tech, and they always had these. They were the Gordon Tech Rams, so they'd have these Rams on the back of their jackets with the horns and stuff. So we were all packed on the bus together, and I would whenever. I know it's hard to believe that I'm a little passive aggressive.
Sorry.
As a teenager, so I'd be sitting there and have like this goat in my face. Like we hit a bump.
Pshaw, you say.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there and so I'd make this noise on the bus. It's the Gordon Goats. Sorry, Greg. At any rate, I'm a longtime listener driving it home and several other shows. I think he takes it all in good stride. By the way, Lane Tech is no longer the Lane Tech Indians. We are the Lane Tech champions.
Oh, there you go.
Which I think is an overstatement of what we accomplished, but that's okay. I love my school, but I mean, we got a couple 2-3.
But keep it real.
I mean, we had 5,000 students and we couldn't field a basketball team. Are you kidding me? Like, we barely had 9 girls playing softball. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Taft kicked our butts every single year. I'll be honest. At any rate, so what I'm saying is I have a tremendous amount of humility about my school. So I throw shade because it's fun. I'm a longtime listener of Driving It Home and several other shows. Enjoy your shows and guests, mostly live, although sometimes I use a podcast. Oh, all of our shows are available as podcasts, everybody. You can go to heartlandsignal.com and listen to all of our shows, Richard, Joan, my show, and you can also listen anywhere you tune in for other podcasts like Spotify, Apple, all the places. And there are also like certain interviews that are available. And if you don't want to hear the whole show, you can choose some of the podcasts, including I interviewed this wonderful actress and screenplay writer. Her name is Elizabeth Stamm, as well as Michael Glover Smith. There's a new movie called Hecla that's going to be at the Music Box Theater this Sunday, May 10th, and they'll be available for a Q&A afterwards. If you enjoyed that and other interviews, you can go to heartlandsignal.com. Let's take a break here. We're taking your phone calls. Is Jeff angry at me, or is Jeff okay? Is Jeff's okay? I just want to Jeff's calling about police officers, so you never know. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. We're in studio with Dr. Suzana Flores, the founder and psychologist that you can work with at NOLA Wellness. Go to nola-wellness.net, and you can also purchase the books Face Hooked or Untamed, The Psychology of Marvel's Wolverine, available on Amazon.
Hey, Tom Harbin here. Tax season is over, but the money you'll waste in 2026 is being decided right now. If your CPA files your taxes next year without planning, it's too late. If you're highly compensated, retired, or run a business, it's likely you're wasting thousands in needless taxes every year. 2026 tax planning needs to start now so you can reduce taxes on required minimum distribution. Grow money safely with tax-advantaged market gains. Make educated decisions instead of winging it. And legally shelter thousands through 2026 tax planning. Take their free 3-minute online tax damage assessment. See if you're okay or being bled dry. Visit brookfieldtaxplanning.com. That's brookfieldtaxplanning.com. Or call 708-485-3439 so you don't overpay taxes ever again. Call 708-485-3439 now. That's brookfieldtaxplanning.com. Or call 708-485-3439.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way. A ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
WCPT replay.
Jamie Harrison is a treasure.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. employers added a surprising 115,000 jobs last month.
Sorry, everybody. I hit too many buttons at once. Oh, my gosh. Make it all stop. How do I make this all stop? I have to reload this. Hold on a second. Reload.
WCPT820.com.
Reload log, yes.
We are Chicago's
How do I make it? Hi,
talk,
Jim.
where facts matter.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weather.
Let me make this all stop. Hi, everybody. This is Patti Vasquez. What? Lady B's like, yeah, I was trying to reload all of that. There was the button with the OK cancel, and I made a choice fast. There's this new thing that happens where we get this OK or cancel, and if you hit OK, the whole system shuts down. So I had to make a choice between hitting that or hitting something else, and I did two things at once. Yes. Sorry about that, Lady B. So we'll get it fixed. Hi,
hello,
Flores. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Let's take a call from Paul in Chicago, who's on the line. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind, my friend? Hold on a second. Hey, Paul, what's up?
Hello, am I on?
Yes, you are.
This is Paul, the spiritual futurist, and I've been on once before. I just want to ask a question about about Mary Trump's book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about that?
Oh, yes.
She says in there that Donald Trump did not do his own homework. His sister did his homework, and he had someone else a friend of his do his SATs for him for entrance to college. I was just wondering, do you think most people know about her book? Of course, she's a psychologist. You know that.
Yes.
Some people do.
Yeah, some people do. None of that surprises me.
I know that she was on Tom Hartman, and I was wondering if most lawyers or all lawyers and judges have taken a course in abnormal psychology.
Oh.
Is that a requirement?
Oh, it should be.
I wish. That sounds like such a great element to that.
Yeah. In her book, she talks about how, like, the real villain is Donald Trump's father, Fred. By the way, did you know that Fred's middle name is Christ? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, Fred Christ Trump. No lie. Can't make that up. Can't make that up at all. Because he created Donald Trump the way that he is, like really, abusive and narcissistic. And so, individuals that are toxic to that level, they're created, right? We aren't born that way, so we're created. But still, it's our responsibility to do, mental illness may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to do something about it. But that's not going to happen here.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if all lawyers and judges.
Oh,
did we lose him?
Did we lose him? Oh, Paul, I think we lost you. Yeah, sorry about that, Paul. I'll put.
To answer, they really should. I think absolutely they should take some sort of basic. Well, I think most people take a Psych 101, right? But they really need to take more.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually really enjoyed the psychology classes I took. I'm learning so much more. I know that we shouldn't take everything on social media as, like, you take something that you hear and you go, oh, is that true? That should be the next question when you see something. Is that true?
Right. Instead of reposting immediately.
Yes.
And that a lot of people are getting in trouble for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least look at that's what I try to do. Like one or two sources. Yeah. I've gotten in trouble. I'm like, I learned my lesson.
Yes,
okay.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. Just, fact check first.
I have been learning. So I don't know. I think this may have happened once when I was visiting you. I suffer from migraines, and I am very sensitive to light and sound, and
you came to Bourbon Street in Louisiana, in New Orleans, Louisiana.
But it's different in the sense that lights are different, and I often wear tinted glasses and things like that if I'm going somewhere. And I just found out about these things called loop, and they mute. You can still hear language, but it mutes all the ambient sounds.
Nice.
And my sensitivity to sound can actually just be our friend Roosevelt, who's listening right now, will tell you. If he calls in and I'm on speakerphone, or he's doing the dishes in the background, or he's cooking, I can hear all of it, and it gets to me, right? So it's rough. But at any rate, the way our brain, I realize. I would always be like, can't you hear that? And we all experience life so differently, and we get mad when people don't experience it the way we do. And that's a big problem.
Mine is olfactory. I'm very sensitive to smell.
Same.
Extremely sensitive to smell, right? And so, it has made my life interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I can't do roses or cologne. Sometimes cigarette smoke, but my dad was a big smoker, so I don't know if that, I had a contributing factor as well.
Maybe.
But the way our brains work, I think that we sort of forget that everyone takes the world in, and whether it is our brains or our experiences, there's a sort of demand that we have of other people to live life the way we do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How is it that you're not bothered by the same thing? Well, people have different sensitivities for sure.
Exactly. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Thank you for hanging out with us. The number is 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. You can also text to the same number. We'll be right back after this.
2026 is being decided right now. If your CPA files your taxes next year without planning, it's too late. If you're highly compensated, retired, or run a business, it's likely you're wasting thousands in needless taxes every year. 2026 tax planning needs to start now so you can reduce taxes on required minimum distribution, grow money safely with tax-advantaged market gains, make educated decisions instead of winging it, and legally shelter thousands through 2026 tax planning. Take their free 3-minute online tax damage assessment. See if you're okay or being bled dry. Visit BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com. That's BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com. Or call 708-485-3439 so you don't overpay taxes ever again. Call 708-485-3439 now. That's brookfieldtaxplanning.com or call 708-485-3439.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way. A ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home. Joining me in studio is Dr. Suzana Flores. She is a psychologist and is the founder of NOLA Wellness. Go to NOLA-wellness.net. And she's available anywhere that you are.
Anywhere, in most states. I belong to something called PsyPAC, so I can treat people by telemedicine, even from Illinois, Indiana, anywhere. In most states, yes.
Excellent. So basically, I love telehealth. It has been so
life-changing.
Yeah, life-changing for me to be able to just get on my phone, in my car, talk to my therapist, because driving into the office, finding a parking, even the driving there. And then after, I think I told you I used to go to a therapist not far from here. And even then, afterwards, it'd be so exhausting. And I would stop and have a glass of wine. Everyone processes differently.
Yes. Yeah. And before COVID, COVID is what really changed everything. We didn't think that we could really, have the same effect if it was, all by telehealth. And we can. And it helps a lot of patients, especially pain patients that can't make appointments or so. But yeah it's definitely helped.
So, what's the process? You do an intake and do a consultation first?
Yeah, I do a free consult. Everyone should know that, right? I do a free consultation, just 15, 30 minutes, just to see what's happening, and then we decide if we move on to an intake where I get more information, and then we decide on a plan.
Excellent. Well, let me take the calls. We only have a time for 1 minute here, so I apologize, and maybe after the break for one more. Roosevelt, what's on your mind, my friend?
Real quick, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there. And my question is, do you think there's ever, this is to anybody, do you think there ever be an intervention such as what happened with Nixon?
No.
As far as the GOP prior? No, well, wait a minute. Wait, just give me a chance. Let's say we win the House and the Democrats do the same thing that they did before, which is impeach them. You know that Nancy Pelosi did that before. So you think that maybe the GOP will say, "Wait a minute,
I waited a minute. I waited a minute there. No, because here's the other thing is the Democrats have never acted as though their pants were on fire, as though they had a sense of urgency to do the right thing for over a decade. So the people that are in place, because then they have him as their enemy. What do they do when they don't have that to rail against? Is to do their freaking fracking jobs, and they could have done that over a decade ago. I'm just saying. Thank you.
They're not going to do it. I agree.
He's useful to everybody that has him there.
He's a perfect puppet.
Yeah. Sorry, Roosevelt.
I was hoping you would give me high spirits, but you knocked me down.
We're just dream destroyers, apparently.
No, I think that the opportunity is, let's see what kind of policy they come up with. They're not even running on the thing. I don't want to get into a Dems or bad thing, but here's the thing: are they running on that? Are they saying that they will do that? Because then maybe I would think, sure, that's what they're going to do, but I haven't heard that from anybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well,
Sorry, Roosevelt.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, ladies.
Oh,
Thank you.
Roosevelt, it's so good to hear from you. Have a lovely weekend. I wish you the best. Thank you. Let's take a break here. We'll come back in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and all of our friends watching on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, am I supposed to be like Mary Poppins?
You didn't get that memo?
I can't promise you everything's going to be okay. Sorry.
WCPT replay.
John Fugelsang. Listen, y'all, the dude wrote a book called Separation of Church and Hate. What a great title. Tell us a little bit what's happening in that space.
Well, and I'm so grateful to you and all the deeply attractive listeners of WCPT for supporting this book. So I wrote this book years ago about how to use the Bible for believers and atheists, because even if you don't believe in Jesus, if you're debating a right-wing Christian on any of the issues that divide us, Jesus is probably on your side, whether he's a literal figure or not. They don't care about the teachings of Jesus. They don't care about religious freedom. They don't give a damn what God tells you to do in the Bible. They care about conservative Christian power. That's it. Jesus' movement was all about humanity and all about humility. He was not about total right-wing domination of the school board.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. employers added a surprising 115,000 jobs last month, despite the economic shock from the Iran war. Sakar Magani has a look.
That's down from 185,000 jobs in March, but far better than the 65,000 analysts expected in April. The unemployment rate stayed at a low 4.3%. Last week, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell noted the war's impact on global oil supplies and elsewhere.
The economic outlook remains highly uncertain.
But the war has not done much damage to the job market, at least so far. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The U.S. is still waiting for Iran's response to its latest proposal for ending the war. The U.S. military says it exchanged fire with Iranian forces in the Strait of Hormuz today and later disabled 2 Iranian oil tankers, while the UAE reported another missile and drone attack. Oil prices edged higher, while stocks closed out another winning week with gains. President Trump says he's gotten Russia and Ukraine to agree to a 3-day ceasefire and a prisoner exchange. The Virginia Supreme Court struck down a Democratic congressional redistricting plan that had won voter approval. And Ed Donahue reports ABC's accusing the Federal Communications Commission of trying to chill free speech.
ABC has been locked in a dispute with the Trump administration over Jimmy Kimmel Live, but this time it's ABC on the offensive over another show.
This is The View.
The point of contention over The View is whether it's subject to equal time rules. It means competing candidates for office must have equal time. ABC says The View is a bona fide news program and is exempt. President Trump's FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, has indicated he intends to argue The View is not a so-called bona fide news program. President Trump has been critical of media outlets whose journalism runs counter to his agenda and sensibilities. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is AP News. The latest Jeffrey Epstein document, a note found by a former cellmate.
Nicholas Tartaglione, a former police officer then awaiting trial in a quadruple murder case, says he discovered the note tucked in a book after Epstein's first suicide attempt in 2019. The short note, which is hard to decipher in some places and hasn't been authenticated, reads, "They investigated me for a month, found nothing. It is a treat to be able to choose the time to say goodbye." Tartaglione said he gave the note to his lawyers to protect himself from any claims that he might have harmed Epstein while they were in custody together. It had been in a vault in New York federal courts. It became part of proceedings between Tartaglione and his lawyers over their representation of his murder case. The New York Times petitioned the judge to release the purported suicide note, noting that Tartaglione, now serving a life sentence, has talked about it publicly. But it's unclear whether the note is authentic or a forgery, and whether its cryptic language amounts to a suicide note.
The AP's Marissa Duhaney reporting. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 51 degrees and south winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, we'll see a slight chance of showers, especially late in the day, with a high of 72 degrees and northwest winds at 10 to 20. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 57 and northeast winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Monday, sunshine with a high temperature of 54. Tuesday, showers and storms with a high of 65. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 66.
These are real stories of speech-language pathologists and the people they helped. He was in his 30s.
55 and far from home.
15 years old with multiple disabilities.
It was a traumatic brain injury.
He's bilingual but lost his English after the stroke.
Several surgeries led to his swallowing disorder.
His goal was to get back to work.
I used French during therapy.
Others almost gave up on the goal of him eating.
Oh, he was dedicated.
Together, we built his life back.
Social interaction was the key to helping him.
And he made it back to work.
When he ate, his friends cheered.
Everyone has the right to communicate.
And later, he was able to travel across the world to his family.
Are you or someone you know experiencing a speech, language, or swallowing disorder? An ASHA-certified speech-language pathologist can help. Visit us at asha.org/public.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
It home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. Thank you to our friends listening on KKNW in Seattle, Washington, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Thank you to our sponsors, Source Solar, Pride Coffee Roasters, Minocqua Brewing Company, and Are You Really Winning? Joining me in studio is Dr. Suzana Flores. She's a psychologist and the founder of NOLA Wellness. Go to nola-wellness.net, and she provides services all across the area. She can work with you remotely, and she also has 2 books that you can find on Amazon. One is Face Hooked. What's it like? Basically,
how Facebook affects our emotions, relationships, and lives. So it's on the psychology of social media. I know, right?
And
very timely.
Untamed, the Psychology of Marvel's Wolverine, also available at Amazon. And you wanted to say a word about teachers this week.
Oh, well, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, right? I just wanted to send, who knows if she's listening, right? Miss Deutmeyer, right? We're talking about like some difficult experiences, you know, like as Gen X or something, but she was an incredible teacher. She would come to my house and teach me algebra after hours just because I said that I'm dumb and I can't do it. And so she took it, you know, upon herself to do that until I got to an A. That is a teacher.
That's
and
fantastic.
So we talked about, like, we remember the ones who were rough on us or whatever, but I remember her. She was everything that a teacher should be.
Oh, what's her name again? Tell us.
Mary Deutmeyer.
Mary Deutmeyer. We'll tip one back for her later.
Okay.
As we do. Joining us now is another listener on the air. Jeff, I know you were trying to get in earlier. We were bouncing around with the phones. What's on your mind, Jeff and Elgin?
Hey, that's okay. One, I can never be mad at you for that. Come on now.
Thank you.
We don't have that kind of relationship. 2, let Lady B know. Let Lady B know that you can hear the program on hold now. So whatever she did with rebooting works.
Hey! Oh, fantastic. She's clapping and very grateful for your feedback. Thank you.
Yes. So whatever magic she worked back there, she got to figure out. I wanted to go back to the caller like right before Jim, who was formerly military and in the police department, I guess. I caught the tail end of that.
I think he said it was like the police are paramilitary, or was it?
In South Carolina, his name was Lee. His name was
like
Lee.
pre-military, paramilitary, right?
Yeah, I'm a gay man. I've been out since my first semester in college, and I can't ever imagine having to hide that. Although I know coming out is a process for a lot of people. It's never like a destination; it's a journey. But I saw the parallel there, and I couldn't resist calling in about it. I'm like,
for sure.
Do you trust these people as first responders or people part of your unit or whatever? You trust them to run in and help you get out of a burning building, or to go after an active shooter together, or whatever. But you can't share your political beliefs with them. for fear of
apparently you can't
retaliation,
mistreatment or retaliation. That bugs me so much. That's such a
you have to play along.
Yep,
you have to
be in, right?
Well,
and I can't help but wonder, like, for the people there that maybe are looking from the sidelines, trying to like read the room and figure out if it's a safe space or not.
Yeah,
and then
can you
all
imagine?
the people that look up to them,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like what happens when an NFL player comes out after they retire. I'm like, how much more impact could they have had if they'd have been out while they were playing? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I feel like that way, like, I know you don't have that responsibility, and how you live your personal life is how you live your personal life, but it gnaws away at something inside of me, like, oh man, there could have been so much more there, but you can't tell people you're a and it's political. It's like the worst, like the dumbest thing of all things. Like, I can't tell you I'm a Democrat or I'm a progressive, or
or that I care about people and their existence.
So you're not free. Basically, you can't be free.
Yeah, it's not like coming out of being trans, or something that's really something you can't change about yourself, and it's not a choice. It's just intrinsic to who you are.
Yeah.
But it's your own political belief. You can't. And that just boggles my mind. So I had to make a comment on that for Friday.
I appreciate
it. Must be tough, but at the same time, what is going on with the culture in those organizations that makes that okay and makes that part of just normal operating procedure? That blows my mind.
I know. I'm glad.
So I love that you guys do not have that at WCPT.
You think?
Clearly.
Thanks.
And amongst the callers.
Yep.
And have a big gay weekend, everybody.
I look forward to my big gay weekend. Have a gay weekend. Big gay weekend, Jeff. Have a good one. Thank you so much. We have an interview coming up with Senator Cristina Castro and our friends from the Friends of the Forest Preserve. Thank you, Lady B. We're right back after this on WCPT. Also go to NOLA-wellness.net to find out more about the work that Dr. Suzana Flores does. Here we go. Do I hit it here? I'll hit it here.
WCPT replay. John Fugelsang. Listen, y'all, the dude wrote a book called Separation of Church and Hate. What a great title. Tell us a little bit what's happening in that space.
Well, and I'm so grateful to you and all the deeply attractive listeners of WCPT for supporting this book. So I wrote this book years ago about how to use the Bible for believers and atheists, because even if you don't believe in Jesus, if you're debating a right-wing Christian on any of the issues that divide us, Jesus is probably on your side, whether he's a literal figure or not. They don't care about the teachings of Jesus. They don't care about religious freedom. They don't give a damn what God tells you to do in the Bible. They care about conservative Christian power. That's it. Jesus' movement was all about humanity and all about humility. He was not about total right-wing domination of the school board.
Keep listening to WCPT 820. Because facts matter.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. For the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. We are so thrilled to be joined by Illinois State Senator Cristina Castro, who joins us right now. Are you in the car right now, Senator?
I am. I've been kind of obviously finishing up some work. We finished up some work at Springfield, and then I'm out in the district. So I had a moment. I have pulled over because I was very excited to have this conversation with you all, obviously being very safe.
Yes, I hear
as you drive. I hope everybody else does as well. So
now,
look forward to this, having talks.
Yes, I know, and you spend so much time talking in Springfield and talking to your constituents, so I appreciate you talking to us, to an even bigger audience, to walk us through. First of all, I want to let people know that Senator Cristina Castro is a Senate Majority Whip and represents the 22nd District. So that's Elgin. What are the communities so folks sort of have a geographical location?
Sure. So I represent, I kind of say it's easy. I represent like half of Kane County and half of Cook County. So in Kane County, it's Elgin, Carpentersville, and Cook County is Hoffman Estates, Hanover Park, Streamwood, and a portion of Schaumburg.
These districts are so big. And I want folks to know about the conversation we're about to have, because there have been some ads out there trying to make people scared about credit cards and what you guys are doing, that your tip won't go through, your transaction's going to get blocked. And here's what's actually happening is because of the fight that you are waging. Let folks know about this legislation.
Well, let's just say that I'm fighting the big banks.
Yes.
There's something like saying, and I'm fighting the big banks for the little guy, especially our small businesses and our consumers. Yes, there is a lot of misinformation. So I want to kind of lay out a little history lesson for all of you listeners. So the Interchange Fee Prohibition Act, or what you're hearing it is called, you keep hearing this thing called interchange fees. What does that mean? Made Illinois the first state in the nation to ban financial institutions from charging electronic processing fees on the tax and tip portion of credit and debit cards. Currently, just to give you a little context, retailers pay interchange fees, commonly known as swipe fees, on the base price of an electronic transaction and on the sales tax they collect for the state. These are hidden costs paid by merchants to banks and credit card companies for processing card transactions. In 2024, swipe fees hit an all-time high of $187.2 billion, driving up prices for working families by nearly $1,200 per year. The biggest banks are making record profits by imposing fees on small business owners, and who end up passing it on to, guess who? The consumer through higher prices. This is where I'm gonna sum it up, called IFPA comes in. It prohibits these big banks and credit card companies, and when I mean credit card companies, it's the Visa, the MasterCard, the American Express, from charging swipe fees on sales taxes and tips in Illinois. The main point is to save consumers money. Lowering these swipe fees will help retailers in their efforts to keep their prices at a reasonable rate and maintain jobs in the communities they serve. So, we are in very tough times, right? Every penny counts for a small business. So these credit card fees make saving harder for small business owners who are trying to make ends meet, and also to meet what they need, the demand, the cost of doing business, and making sure that their employees, they can hire good employees. Tips workers shouldn't have to see their hard-earned tips minimized because of these fees. When business owners save on operating costs, they can expand into other areas of the business or provide more services, right? Protecting our Main Street businesses ensure working families see the relief at the checkout line, especially during these trying times.
Yeah, and the thing is, the idea of you taking on the banks is wild. And it's also, it's really bipartisan. This was 113-1 in the House, 49-1 in the Senate. I know for a fact, you don't get those kinds of numbers in Springfield on lunch orders, much less something that is going up against the banks. So what does that tell us about who's really opposing this and why it's playing out the way it is?
And here's the interesting part. So, when you look at this topic of conversation, and I'm not definitely not a fan of Josh Hawley, but this is also a bipartisan fight in Washington. And I watched a video that was very in-depth to what we feel in regards to watching these big banks and these credit card companies run killer profits on the backs of the little guy, right? And so, of course, they don't like it. Big banks are all about profits. And I talked about that $187 billion. what can we do with $187 billion in this country?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is so much demand. But, of course there's opposition. And they make money from these hidden fees in small businesses. And that's not fair. Big banks and credit card companies are counting on us to not push back, using these cute little commercials that are calling. They are telling so much distruth, but I want to restore power back to the consumer and the small businesses that have spent too long and are in tough times right now paying these arbitrary fees so these big banks can keep making money.
Yeah. Well, and so to your point about this also being at the federal level, why is Illinois the battleground now?
Because we're the first state in the nation to do it.
Right.
And there are other states that have begun to introduce this law. So right now we have enacted it. It will begin July 1st. It is tied up in litigation right now. So that is why we are the battleground, because they want the law repealed. They don't want us to help the working class families. They want to keep their fiefdom as is. So they're scaring people by saying, oh, your credit cards aren't going to work, or your points are going to go away if you're like, an airline firm, right? Look, reward programs operated before big banks got involved, right? And so for them to say that, it's a lot of mistruths and misstatements. Here's a fun fact for you to know. These big banks and credit card companies, under federal law, are not allowed to charge interchange fees on WIC or SNAP benefits. They know how to do this. They claim they can't do this. They know, because right now they are unable to do this on those types of benefits. So they know how to do it. So they're crying, oh, we can't do this. The system's going to break. No, technology today, if there's a will, there's a way. But right now, there's no will by the big banks to take care of our working class folks.
So I have to ask, are you getting like phone calls? Are you getting pressure from the banking lobbyists? I mean, what does this look like for Senator Cristina Castro as you go through this?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
When you take on the big banks, you're going to get a ton of emails and I like to call it hate fan mail. But at the end of the day, so are a lot of my colleagues. And because there's so much disinformation out there, my colleagues are like, hey, let's let the courts decide. I'm on the side of the people, and I'm on the side of the consumer and the small businesses who have been constantly having to pay these fees. Let me put it to you this way. If you go to a small business or a small restaurant that you like to serve, you ever notice that they say, hey, if you use a credit card, we have to tack on a 3% fee or a percentage fee? That's because of these swipe fees.
Yeah.
Right? That is why, because a portion of their revenues are having to go to these big banks and these credit card companies just for the privilege of us using a credit card, right? Yeah. Our convenience. So they're fleecing these small businesses and us consumers by saying, hey, you got to pay all these fees just to use the credit card. And a lot more people are cashless, right? So think about it. You use your Apple Pay, you use your iPhone, like you use a credit card, right? They are racking up these fees. So whenever you see a restaurant and you see that, like, hey, we have to charge at 3%, it's because they're having to pay that. And it's taking out of their bottom line. So that is one of the things that we're seeing. And a lot of my colleagues have been hearing about it. Of course, they're making their big push. They want us to repeal it. They keep using, oh, there's an agreement. Nope. Not an agreement at all. There's two separate issues that are going on right now. At the end of the day, we are on the side of the consumer. We are on the side of working class, and it's time for the big banks to pay up and take care of working class folks and stop fleecing them.
Yeah, I mean, here's a step that folks keep talking about is how much the wealthy are taking advantage of working class families. And I know so the OCC issued an interim final order on April 24th declaring federal law preempts the IFPA, right, effective June 30th, one day before your law takes effect. So as a federal agency essentially trying to nullify state legislation, what's the response and what tools does Illinois have to push back?
So it's funny that they said it's an executive order. particular executive order that the Trump administration, again, as they talk about, we care about working class people. No, they don't. They care about protecting the fiefdoms of the wealthy. And here's what I'll tell you. It's an executive order. It is in the courts system. The judiciary trumps executive orders. At the end of the day, it is still in the hands of the courts. And really, that executive order doesn't mean anything when the courts are in turn to rule in that aspect. So, again, people, they just don't want to do anything for our working class folks.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to take on the fight with the banks.
I love that so much.
They are hurting our small businesses, our working class folks, and they really need to pay their fair share.
So I guess there's Seventh Circuit Court oral arguments, right? So what's actually on the table at the appeals level, and when do you expect a ruling?
Well, obviously, I'm not privy to all of that. I know the Attorney General is citing that case, so I can't really speak to that right now. But I can just say that I know our Attorney General's on our side. He's working very hard to make sure this law helps our working class folks and our small businesses, and that we prevail.
And so there's so is this right? There's $1,000 per transaction civil penalty in the law. So how would enforcement actually work after July 1st? Like, what does compliance look like for maybe a Northside coffee shop?
So I think one of the things, and I thought I had that in front of me because I was going to look at all of that. I think one of the things that I would say when we're looking at the law in general, and I apologize, I don't have that little thing in front of me. But look, I think what we did in working with this with the Department of Revenue and others, we will make sure that there's rules in place and how we're going to get that done. But at this moment, I'm looking forward to making sure we uphold this and then enact it. So.
And I guess one of the arguments that you've had to hear, too, is that banks and credit unions say compliance is unworkable, right? That the system can't separate out tax and tip portions of a transaction. But technology has come so far with point of sale, right? Transactions every single day.
Well, and that's why I brought up the example. If you go under the USDA, they're not allowed to charge these fees.
Right.
On SNAP and WIC benefits.
Yeah.
So if they can do it now,
yeah,
you can't sit there and tell me you can't do it. You can. So again, technology is so advanced. POS systems are so advanced. They can do it. They just don't want to do it. So we're going to force them to do it.
So when did you, and I love that, when did you decide? I mean, like, was this something that was brought to you? How long has this been in the works? Go ahead.
So this bill is around, it's kind of a continuation of my work to limit like ATM transaction fees. And I kind of started that fight in 2000. I'm trying to think, the 102nd GA. We're in the 104th. So, I think in GA terms. So we're in the 104th. This particular law was the 103rd. So that was 2021, and then before that would have been 2019 would have been the 102nd GA. So, so this bill, this particular law that the IFTA has been out since 2021, and so look, wherever we can close loopholes so that way, working class folks are not paying these exorbitant amount of fees. You have a lot of colleagues that are working on regulating and banning junk fees and things like that. Every penny counts, especially in this economy.
Absolutely.
Right? Many folks are hurting small businesses, especially with the cost of gas, tariffs, you name it. Everything's much more expensive. And anywhere we can help our working class families, our small businesses who are the backbone of our state, I'm all for it. And we'll continue to fight those charges. And I look forward to seeing what the Seventh Circuit comes out with, and I know our great Attorney General is working very diligently to get this upheld. And it's like some of the other laws that I've worked to. One of the things that I did was the Marketplace Fairness Act that closed some of the online sales loopholes that were making sure that online retailers paid their fair share of taxes. Because when you talked about a brick and mortar business who was collecting their sales tax, these folks weren't contributing, and we closed that loophole based on another state being the first one, which was South Dakota versus Wayfair. So on this instance, we're the first state to tackle on the interchange fees, and I know we won't be the last.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the work that you're doing, and I love the fight that you've got in you. And what can listeners do? Is there anything they can do to right now, this week, if they want to support the law before July 1st?
I would just say call your obviously, there is this push to repeal it, right? Even though it's tied up in the courts, there is this push to repeal it. I would just call your local lawmaker, your 2 state reps, because every senator has 2 state reps, and the senator, to let them know to keep, supporting the interchange fee act and saying why it's important to them, because it's going to put dollars back in their pockets, but much needed money during really trying times. And it will also support our small businesses who are really struggling to put, to stay afloat because of everything that's being cost.
Yeah.
Again, this is a great consumer bill, and I'm happy to stand with working class families and our small businesses in this state. And if you can call folks, because obviously the big banks are putting their push, letting them know, thank you for supporting this bill and keep the fight.
Love it. State Senator Cristina Castro has been joining us to explain this new piece of legislation that rolls out at the end of, July 1st. And you are finishing up the legislative session. Do you think it'll be done before midnight at the end of the month?
We are working very diligently to get that done. So I will say that. And we have a lot of different pieces of legislation. Look forward to the budget discussions that are taking place, a part of, and obviously you'll start seeing other legislation move forward as well. So I look forward to continuing the work, have always looked forward to continue the work. And for the listeners, don't believe the TV ads. Remember, it's the big banks wanting to keep their fiefdom.
Yep.
And you could tell them so.
Well, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Interchange Fee Prohibition Act. And where can folks learn more about you? Do you prefer social media, Facebook, Instagram, your website? What's the best place? Or all of them?
You can visit my website at senatorcristinacastro.com. And I would just say this, it's without the H. It's Cristina. But you can also follow me on social media. I have a Facebook page, and yes, I still have something on X. Mostly it's to post useful information.
Sure.
But you can also, on my website, you can sign up for a newsletter. I also like to put out information that's going on in the legislature, but also community information, pertinent information from a lot of our community partners that are serving. There's a lot of need right now, and I think all of us working together to help address a lot of the trying times that are out there. I have great partners in a lot of our nonprofit organizations. So, go to my webpage, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get a lot of different information that you can either use yourself or pass along to those that are in need or looking for info.
I appreciate it. Well said. Well done. And have a great weekend, Senator. We appreciate your time.
You too, Patty.
Thank
Good
you so
talking
much.
to you again.
Good talking to you, too.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be right back after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Thanks for being here.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 51 degrees and south winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, we'll see a slight chance of showers, especially late in the day, with a high of 72 degrees and northwest winds at 10 to 20. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 57 and northeast winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Monday, sunshine with a high temperature at 54. Tuesday, showers and storms with a high of 65. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 65.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
These are real stories of speech-language pathologists and the people they helped. He was in his 30s.
55 and far from home.
15 years old with multiple disabilities.
It was a traumatic brain injury.
He's bilingual but lost his English after the stroke.
Several surgeries led to his swallowing disorder.
His goal was to get back to work.
I used French during therapy.
Others almost gave up on the goal of him eating.
Oh, he was dedicated.
Together, we built his life back.
Social interaction was the key to helping him.
And he made it back to work.
When he ate, his friends cheered.
Everyone has the right to communicate.
And later, he was able to travel across the world to his family.
Are you or someone you know experiencing a speech, language, or swallowing disorder? An ASHA-certified speech-language pathologist can help. Visit us at asha.org/public.
As farmers and ranchers, stewardship of the land comes naturally. Your work keeps our water clean, improves the soil, and enhances wildlife habitat. It also provides countless benefits, not just for you and your family, but for millions of Americans who depend on this region every day without even realizing it. Thank you for being stewards of America's prairie for all of us. Take a moment to find out how conservation pays. Visit conservationpays.org.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. And hello to all our friends watching on YouTube and Facebook. I think that I've talked extensively about my love and adoration for the Cook County Forest Preserves. And so I was super excited to find out that Benjamin Cox will be joining us, Executive Director of Friends of the Forest Preserve. Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is really fun.
I appreciate it. I live within about a 10-minute walk from the Cook County Forest Preserves, and I have to tell you one of the reasons I became obsessed. I've lived around the Forest Preserves my entire life, but one day I was just walking along the edge of the Forest Preserve near my house, and I saw a guy walk into the forest with a wheelbarrow, and I realized he was taking trash out of his yard, whatever he wasn't using, and dumping it in the forest preserves. And I let somebody know about that. So I am so grateful to know there are organizations like yours that not only amplify what the forest preserves mean to our communities, but also how we can do better by our forests. So tell us, how did you get involved in this work?
You know, it's funny. I mean, I grew up in Cook County. I grew up way out in Bartlett, which some people don't believe is still Cook County. Cook County is huge. Moved away for a while, but I wanted to come back and work for an environmental organization, and also one that sort of engaged youth in the forest preserves. I'd had a AmeriCorps position teaching fourth grade Indianapolis public school students conflict resolution skills in a place in Indianapolis is very much like a forest preserve. And as part of AmeriCorps, you got to get so many hours every week. It's part of your year-long, year of service. And so I was out picking up litter along a waterway there in Indianapolis, and thought, man, I wonder how I could go back to Chicago and get kids out, because so many of the kids that we had out on these, field trips where they were learning about these conflict skills, we'd take them out for a hike, and I'd ask them, how many of you have been to a place like this before? And hardly any hands would go up, and it really just broke my heart, because I grew up on the edge, then, at least, of the suburbs. There's lots of green spaces, lots of playtime outside and all that. But, it just made me sad to see, so many kids not having that experience. So I thought, maybe I go back to Chicago, start a nonprofit that focused on getting youth out doing service projects in the forest preserves. And that way they would, you could fund it, but they could also get the experience. It turns out this organization existed already, and that kind of program is called Conservation Corps, which we could talk more about later. But so I didn't have any new and unique ideas, but I was the first employee here, and so since then, since like 2007, we've had well over 2,000 alumni in our paid Conservation Corps programs, where they learn about the forest preserves and how to take care of them, and they get really good job skills, both for this field, but also any field. And so it's something that we're really proud of here at Friends.
Now, where did you grow up, my friend?
Bartlett, and I went to school district U46, K through 12, so it's public schools out there. And now I live on the south side in Beverly, in Chicago, and it's pretty far from Bartlett where I grew up, but yeah, there's
Did you, like as a kid, because for me, my roots of loving the forests and hiking and nature started with Girl Scout camp. I mean, I grew up right by the forest preserves at Devon and Nagel and Milwaukee, which is Caldwell Woods. And when I was a kid, there were toboggan slides. We had that little sort of shelter that was for the slides and with a fire, all that stuff. And that's being reinvigorated with new programs, and they've redesigned it and everything. It's amazing. But for me, it was Girl Scout camp. And you're right. There were a lot of kids that I went to camp with who came from communities where they had never really been a part of nature. And it was life-changing for me. Do you remember that moment for you where you just always wanted to be near the woods, having something to do with the environment and nature?
I mean, literally since I was just a little kid, I had this deep love of animals, and I still do. I mean, I love plants too. You're sort of plants or animals guy when you're in the forest preserves. I love them both, and I love recreating in nature. I do a bunch of volunteering, and that's really fun. And just, being out even for a short walk in the woods is really good for me. I think it's actually, science says it's good for everyone. And there's all kinds of good things that happen if you just take a short walk. It helps you calm down, and you get all these compounds from the trees and all this kind of stuff. It sounds hippy-dippy, but it's actually true.
I agree.
So I remember it from as a little kid. I used to climb trees, and we'd ride our bikes, and we'd build forts, and just all that stuff. And a little bit of Boy Scouts, and some trips to national parks with my aunts and uncles, which was pretty crazy because they were young, and we just drove out to Yellowstone, and a trip to Alaska and stuff, that I'd help pay for with my paper route, stuff like that. So it's been a long time. What I did figure out after my first year in college is that science wasn't my jam, and math I thought it was. And I'm like, I'm terrible at this. What am I trying? I was in an environmental, or kind of a biology type degree, and so I sat out for a while and went back to school to be a newspaper reporter, and I was going to write about journalism issues. Turns out, and I had a newspaper job for a couple of years, but it turns out newspapers are dying. So I fell back into some nonprofit work where I've been volunteering, and eventually at some point I got lucky enough to apply for this job and get it. And so I was the executive director of one when I started, and now we've got over 40 people working at Friends, and our bigger community has, about 2,500 members and about 20,000 social media followers. And so, we talk about the Friends community. It's all these volunteers and partners and the Forest Preserve staff and all these folks that, where we're really focused on trying to help the Forest Preserves be better.
That's fantastic. And I always love seeing the surprise on people's faces when they find out how vast the Cook County Forest Preserve system is. And actually, I've lived here my entire life, and I love when we're flying into Chicago, and there's people from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. And I've heard people on flights going, "Oh my God, look at all those trees," because they're surprised at how big the Cook County Forest Preserves are. So can you tell folks how many acres, a little bit about the land? What are we talking about here?
So the amazing thing is that people are surprised about, they think you got to go up to Wisconsin or, Michigan, or you have to go out to Colorado or somewhere to get into nature. And in Cook County, this is the first and the largest forest preserve district in the country. It's easy to say that because Illinois is the only place with this county-based forest preserve district system. It started in Chicago. It started with the Burnham Plan, which was how are we going to rebuild the city after the fire plan. The forest preserves of Cook County were the first one in the state. There's only about 20 in the state, and it's also by far the largest, more than double the size of any other county, which is sort of counterintuitive because you'd think some county, not with Chicago in it would have more forest preserves. But these folks started so early in the 19-teens. They started buying land as fast as they could, and then they've had a number of different times in history where they really made big advances towards purchasing land. So there's about 70,000 acres, a little more actually now.
What?
So that's here's some points of reference. One, an acre is about the size of a football field without the end zones. 2, 70,000 of those would make up about half of the city of Chicago. And 3, there's 63 national parks. Mm-hmm. And the Cook County Forest Preserves would be in the mid-40s in size if it was a national park. So it's just a little smaller than Arches National Park, which a lot of people know that one because it's kind of iconic with the beautiful rock features. The next ones like Lake and DuPage County, one to our north and to our west, They're more around 30,000 acres, and so it's just kind of amazing. And there's actually a lot of the woods we say, woodlands, prairies, wetlands, savannas, which is kind of a unique ecosystem to this part of the world. And there's not a lot of forest, actually. There never was. But that word forest is sort of a collection of natural areas. Is
right.
The way, back then it had a slightly different meaning when they applied it to this.
Right. So it's more woods than forest?
There's almost no forest. So it's just basically a gradations. One way to look at it is gradations on how much tree cover there is. And there's forest is very, very heavily... the canopy's almost, you can't hardly see the sky. And we have much more open woods. So if you're going by a forest preserve and it's very open, that means they're doing a good job of keeping all the brush out. If you go by one that's like solid green, that means there's work to do. There's invasive species in there, and we've got to get those out. You should be able to walk through the woods and see, a couple blocks well into the woods before it's obstructed by. And so it's neat.
I've learned so much just in the few minutes we've been talking. Can you stick around for another segment? I'd love to continue our conversation.
Of course.
Excellent. We are talking to Benjamin Cox, the executive director of Friends of the Forest Preserve. You can go to FOFP. Is that .org or .com? FOFP.org.
FOTFP. So it's the acronym.
Yes.
The easiest thing to do is just Google Friends, Forest Preserve Friends, and we'll come right up.
There you go.
Put it in your search bar.
FOTFP. FOTFP. Actually, we can make it a song. FOTFP.org for more information about all the great activities, events, and how you can be a part of nature in your own community. We'll be right back after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950.
The Sports Cubicle.
It is our honor to be joined with Justine Siegel. She's the co-owner of the Women's Pro Baseball League.
I think the majority of our players will have been women who played with boys and men. A lot of them just have experience with baseball, the same experience that you have. They're just women. So they'll be bringing that with them for better or for worse, but that competitiveness and that desire to be there no matter what.
The Sports Cubicle with Mike Mercado, Devin Tingle, Dan Marver, and Paul Shivari. Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on WCPT.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. For the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
When I first had my baby, I'd get comments all the time about how happy I must be. I remember thinking, I want to be happy. Why don't I feel that way? It was hard to admit that, even to my doctor. But I'm glad I did. She told me it was postpartum depression, and that is very treatable. These days, things are feeling good, and we're both happier about that. Right, little man? I'll take that as a yes.
Mental health care is working for Simone. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation with Benjamin Cox, the executive director of Friends of the Forest Preserve. You can go to FOTFP.org to learn more. And I know you've got events coming up. We are heading, the weather is still a little chaotic. It gets chilly, it gets warm, it gets chilly, it gets warm, which I know can affect our feathered friends, our fur friends, all of our friends in the forest. So what kind of events are coming up just in the next few weeks in May 1st?
So one of the biggest things we do is these engagement programs where we're really just trying to connect local communities with their forest preserves. And a lot of what we do is actually go talk to folks and say, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? How can we help you sort of enjoy your forest preserves? And that's kind of unique in that we don't just show up and say, we've got this great thing for you. And they're like, we're not interested. Instead, we let them help us build these programs. So we have, coming up a little later in June, we'll have the summer equinox. We have a big celebration for that. We've got forest bathing that gets more into the sort of how do the trees help you feel better thing that we were talking about earlier. We have trailblazers walks, which you just get to go out with someone who helps lead a walk and through specific places where there's really good trails to follow and good things to see. One of the biggest ways to get out and enjoy the forest preserves is to volunteer, and there's people who've been doing it for nearly 50 years because it's just such a part of their life. And you go in and help remove invasive species, you collect seeds, you do some burning, you do some, just basically helping the forest preserves be better. And some of these places, they've done the work and they've turned them into these gems of nature here in the county, to the point where the state has recognized these places as special, especially designated spots as nature preserves, and saying that they're just that incredible of a collection of plants and animals that it should have this extra level of protection. There's one event coming up soon, sunflower birds, bees, and beavers. And so we have an engagement corps, which is kind of a different sort of conservation corps model where they're working to help people get out and enjoy their forest preserves. Like if you went to a national park and someone ran a program or explained to you the monument you're looking at or whatever, talk to you about that. That's what we're training those folks to do. And so they each of the four of them did a sort of deeper dive on one on sunflowers, then birds, bees, and beavers, and then they talk about how that's all coming together and how those things interact as one part of sort of the web of life in the forest preserves. And so there's a lot of different programs, so you can check them all out on our website. There's an activities and events page that lists everything. And also, I'd be a bad executive director if I didn't say our golf outing is on June 5th, and we go out to one of the best forest preserve course in the area, Georgetown National, and you're welcome to join us for that. Tickets are available on our website for that too.
Awesome. And when you talk about, you have volunteers who talk about what's in the area, whether it's wildlife or nature, the plants and trees and things like that. What about, because I know we've talked to someone from DuPage County Forest Preserves, and they had some historic landmarks. I hike, as I mentioned, kind of along the North Branch River on the northwest side, and there are structures that look like there used to be a bridge there. How is some of that history uncovered? Like, how is that documented? Do you have access to what a structure you come across? You're like, what used to be here, kind of?
Yeah, so you can find all that information, a lot of that stuff on the Forest Preserve's website. There's, sort of around the Great Depression afterwards, there was make-work programs that help people literally go make money and be able to then get the economy moving again. The federal government spent a lot of money on things like the Civilian Conservation Corps. And so there's some pretty cool, really amazing projects out there. Like here at Dan Ryan Woods on the south side, there's a beautiful limestone ravine sort of walkway that helped water flow downhill and not cause erosion, but also it's just a beautiful thing to walk on, and folks are just amazed when they find these. There's warming shelters, picnic shelters, things like that. Caldwell Woods Wellness Center, buildings like that. I'm not sure if that's one of them or not, but where they built these amazing limestone buildings that are still in excellent shape today and are there for all of us to use and appreciate. Yeah. The Forest Preserves also does a lot of work with the state to do the research and find the human history that's in the Forest Preserves, both of Native Americans but also settlers. And usually if they're doing a project, they'll have them come out and do an evaluation and make sure they're not going to disturb anything that they shouldn't, or if they do, they properly document and take care of the items that are found. And so my son actually works for the Forest Preserves now, and they
really?
Yeah, he did all of our Conservation Corps programs and worked for Davy Tree Service and a bunch of other things, and so he ended up being qualified and he got a job. But he and his crew were looking at a pile of dirt that somebody had, I don't know what project they had done, but they'd come back to their shop in an area where they keep stuff like that, and there was actually an axe head there that they had the state look at, and they're like, oh yeah, this is from it's 1,200 years old or whatever, all the history. And it's amazing how there's Indian mounds, there's all kinds of things in the Forest Preserves. It's just amazing.
Oh, folks, you've got to get out to your forest preserves. And I grew up, as I mentioned, at Caldwell Woods, and Wayland Pool. Even as a kid, I remember, because the way they used to have the sprinkler, that you had to walk through sprinklers to rinse off before. Now they have a shower room where they want you to rinse. I was a lifeguard at the Chicago Park Districts for years, and I also was at pools at the University of Illinois. So I was very strict about people rinsing off all that lotion and perfume and if you're getting the water together. But I still remember those pipes that they had in the 1970s and 80s. I'm pretty sure those were there for decades. And I think they probably were part of the WPA that you were talking about during the Great Depression. And Wayland Pool has to be part of that network. I mean, if you just, but the idea that there was an axe head from over 1,000 years ago, folks, you've got to get out to your forest preserve, because it's not just even the trees. You know that you are surrounded by much of the sort of nature that people have been for centuries in this area, and that's the whole idea behind preserving it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They built the forest preserves. The plan was free and clear lakefront, parks and boulevards in the city, and forest preserves outside of the city. The city grew out to envelop some of the forest preserves. Most of them are in the suburbs, but I don't think you could be anywhere in the county and be more than 20 minutes away from a forest preserve in a car ride. There's plenty of them if you don't have a car that you can get to in the city through public transportation. You can even, there's some that you can get to out in the suburbs we did a whole brochure on this years ago, but 2 forms of
Metro.
and no more than 2 forms of public transportation, because it gets to be ridiculous if you try and string together 3, then one of them's late and all that. So, but yeah, you can get to you can always be at a forest preserve, and they were designed to give people respite from the big dirty, busy, polluted city. And I'm not sure that's changed too much today. I think we still need that respite. And I can't tell you how many times I get out on a trail, and within 5 minutes or less, all of a sudden you look around and the only thing that you see that's man-made is the trail. Yep. And you might see some other people, and it's like you might as well be in the North Woods or in a national park somewhere. And if you get in the right spot, you might be able to see the Sears Tower. I'll still call it Sears Tower.
That's
but and it's just it's amazing. The biggest thing you hear, maybe some road noise, maybe a plane, but otherwise, it's just really wonderful.
For what I recommend is also remote workers. This is a place you can. The weather's right. I would get get a picnic table at a shelter, or I have bought a chair, one that goes in my backpack that I can unpack and sit in a little perch myself along the north branch of the river under some trees. Almost there are pockets that are like your own little huts. It's beautiful out there, folks.
There's a lot of great places.
Do you have a favorite you want to share with our audience, or do you not want it to get overcome by Trump?
No, it's sort of like you can't pick a favorite, but the one I seem to go to the most is called Cap Sours. It's out in Palos. Palos on its own is we talk about these areas like you were saying, the North Branch, or Palos. There's sort of regions, and then there's forest preserves within that. So Palos is out southwest. It's about 15,000 acres, which is as big as the Indiana Dunes National Park, our closest national park. And there's one section called Cap Sours where you can really go. There's actually hills, there's some geography thanks to the glaciers, and it's drop dead gorgeous and totally worth the trip.
I'll have to make a trip there. And I would love another conversation with you, because we didn't even get to conservation, the projects that you were talking about. So I want to hopefully have you back in the next month or so and find out more if that fits your schedule. We've been talking to Benjamin Cox, Executive Director of Friends of the Forest Preserve. You can go to FOTFP.org to find out about the events, how you can volunteer, how you can support the work that they do. And again, that's FOTFP.org. Thank you again, Benjamin. You have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Love you, Lady B. Take care, everybody.
WCPT replay.
This is exactly where we are. This is how we got here, because Joe Biden would not play that game. And, Obama did not play that game. We certainly didn't give them the clown show that Trump does. This is why I keep trying to tell people, it's not the show. Mm-hmm. Don't take the rage bait. Don't be part of the show. This is how he got elected again. These people want him in there because he makes them money. He gives them fame. Everybody's paying attention right now. They didn't pay attention when Biden was in office, and he was getting so much done. But they didn't pay attention because it wasn't a clown show. There wasn't the opportunity for them to, cover him and put on a little show of standing up to him for a second and then become famous and write a book.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. The owners of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, Magnum Ice Cream Company, is currently silencing them. Now, why would they silence Ben & Jerry's? Oh yeah, that's right, because they were speaking negatively about the Trump administration and even prevented the company from releasing a flavor titled Peace in Gaza. Ben Cohen, the co-founder of Ben & Jerry's, has started a hashtag Free Ben & Jerry's to get their rights to speech back. Magnum Ice Cream Company owns several brands. So instead of talking about the brands that they own, let's talk about some ice cream companies that they don't own that are all for free speech. Johnny Pops, Dove Ice Cream, Tillamook, Häagen-Dazs. And for those of you who prefer frozen yogurt, Stonyfield. And if you still want to give Ben & Jerry's a chance, that's up to you. But make sure you only buy Ben & Jerry's and none of the other brands owned by Magnum Ice Cream Company. So maybe, just maybe, then they'll realize that people like their ice cream without a side of fashion. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way, a ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
Is credit card or other debt making it difficult to pay your rent or mortgage? Home insecurity is often the unintended consequence of an inability to pay mounting credit card debt, student loans, or medical debt. But by working with a nonprofit credit counselor, you can avoid or reduce the risk of eviction or foreclosure while tackling debt for good. For more information about how nonprofit credit counseling can help, visit nfcc.org. Made possible in part by the nonprofit Wells Fargo Foundation.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey has signed a measure into law that could lead to new congressional districts in the state in this year's election. Ed Donahue has details.
An injunction is in place in Alabama ordering a second congressional district where black voters are the majority or close to it. Republicans want to overturn it. Bobby Singleton is the Senate Minority Leader.
We've just only been voting since 1965. And you are now trying to take that voice away from us.
Republican Senator Greg Albritton says the bill may not be needed.
This is conditional if and only if a federal court order is issued lifting the current federal injunctions in the relevant cases. Should there be no court order issued, then this bill would have no effect.
If the injunction is lifted, the results of May 19th's primaries may be thrown out. Democrat Shamari Figures, who is black, won in the court-ordered Alabama congressional district. I'm Ed Donahue.
Alabama's move came as the Virginia Supreme Court dealt a major setback to Democrats, overturning a redistricting plan that could have helped them win as many as 4 additional House seats. President Trump says Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a 3-day ceasefire, telling reporters,
I asked, and President Putin agreed, President Zelensky agreed, both readily, and we have a little period of time where they're not going to be killing people. That's very good.
And he says a prisoner swap. No word yet of a response from Iran to the latest U.S. proposal for ending that war, while the U.S. military exchanged fire with Iranian forces in the Strait of Hormuz and later disabled 2 Iranian oil tankers. And the UAE reported another missile and drone attack. Oil prices edged higher while stocks closed out another winning week with gains. And U.S. employers added 115,000 jobs last month. Unemployment remained at a low 4.3%. This is AP News. Walter Ratliff on an anniversary.
A crowd cheers 1 year ago as Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost was elected the first American Pope of the Catholic Church.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
He wished peace to the crowds cheering him, but it's been anything but peaceful around the world this year.
In the view of President Trump, there are only
4 or 5 big players in the world.
Vatican analyst Marco Politi says the words of the Pope carry weight, and that was a lesson for those in the White House.
He didn't think that also the Pope in Rome can be a big player.
Leo says he doesn't see his role as political, but he will speak up to other world leaders, including Trump.
I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loud against war, looking to promote peace.
I'm Walter Ratliff.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Stephanie Miller.
Trump's rhetoric calling the left the greatest enemy of this country is exactly why Melissa Hortman, her husband, and their dog aren't here. I continue to be deeply unsettling to have been raised to speak and act the exact opposite of Donald Trump and see the majority of those who taught you that in church say nothing. I'm going to guess Mike Johnson didn't see the I'm glad Bob Mueller's dead tweet. You didn't see it? Didn't hear about that? Doesn't know about it?
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings 8 to 11 on WCPT 820.
Tell me how you're doing, really. Tell me that you missed the bus this morning, your rent's past due, and your stress level has skyrocketed. I'm here for you, to listen, not judge, to connect you to local mental health resources. No matter what you're going through, specialists like me from NAMI Chicago Helpline are here for you. Call or text Helpline to 833-626-4244. That's 833-626-4244.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, we are building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Donate at nationalparks.org/foundation.
A loved one owns a gun, and for a while now, you've been concerned about their behavior. They're just not acting like themselves. They've been distant, they've been unpredictable, they've been lashing out. They've been saying things that make you worried they might harm themselves or friends or family. Or you're worried this loved one might hurt you. Maybe they recently threatened someone with their gun. You know something needs to be done, and you wish more than anything you could hit pause on this situation. Well, here in Illinois, you can, with a firearm restraining order. In extreme cases, this order temporarily prevents a person in crisis from having a firearm, giving them time to heal before they do something dangerous or even deadly. If you are worried about a loved one in crisis who has access to a firearm, learn more about firearm restraining orders at illinois.gov/pause to heal. A public service announcement brought to you by the Illinois Department of Public Health, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Welcome to the bar.
It's political.
Step up to the bar.
Thinking critical.
Don't think at the bar. Whoever you are, the politics bar.
With Sean Smith, Pierce, and Jody Hamilton.
Jody!
Sean!
Hey, guess what?
It's Friday.
It is Friday. Woohoo! We made it through another week. Of course, there's more war now. There was one over there. Now there's one here.
So my shirt doesn't make a difference?
No, I mean, I like your piece. I mean, on the shirt, she's got a peace sign on her shirt. Jeez Louise, people. I'm not even 2 steps into the bar, and you guys are like, really? Really? Anyway, look, we've got a lot to talk about in the news on tap today. War over there, war over here, incompetence everywhere that the Trump regime sits. We're going to need some drinks tonight. We have a very good drink of the evening. And think about it this way. Whether you like Coke or not, we'll get you one tonight.
And you can smile drinking it.
Exactly. Well, especially, for those folks who are listening down in the ATL, with our friends down in Georgia Now Radio, remember, every soft drink is a Coke. Just saying. It's true. You ask somebody down in Georgia, and you guys tell her. Anyway, look, thank you, by the way, to the folks listening on Georgia Now and the folks listening on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago, where we were at this morning with Richard.
We were.
We were also on AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul at the same time because technology works like that. Thank you, by the way, to also the people listening on the Detour Talk Radio in Tennessee. We're talking about Tennessee today, too. And, of course, Progressive Voices Radio worldwide. Thank you if you are listening somewhere else on that. Or if you are one of those future people, we appreciate you doing that. And we really appreciate you listening on the podcast. If you are subscribed to thepoliticsbar.com. Now, Jody, we happen to have a note here. Jerry, I believe, from North Carolina via the bar line, he did a little text, and he says, I love the Politics Bar, but regarding the signing up thing and the cost thing, he did the math. He says, well, $6 a month times 12 months equals 72. 72 divided by 52 weeks, carry the $1.38 a week, he says. And while I'd love to say you're right, Jerry, because technically, remember, if you do it as an annual subscription, it's $65 a year. Right? Yeah. It's $125 a week. And plus, we're giving you guys a birthday discount this month because it is our birthday month. So you get a 10% discount. So it's literally less than $125 a week if you do it as an annual subscription. So look, all the details are there. The discount bar happens to be right under the first round in the News on Tap today. And if you are subscribed to the News on Tap for free, just scroll down, check it out, and make sure that you subscribe. There you go. Which war do you want to start with? I hate having to say that.
The civil one or the nuclear one that's about to happen, or World War III?
Yeah, that's about. Or there's war over the FCC in Hollywood. There's
Paramount, Warner Brothers, the Nexstar Tenga deal.
I would really like to be living in a United States that is not at war. And, we had one of those, actually.
It was in the 70s when President Carter was our president.
Well, we also had that under Barack Obama. Well, no, actually, we had a little bit. We were getting out of the wars under Barack. But we were out of Joe Biden got us out of the war there.
He did.
The leftover one that was created by
George
Bush.
W., yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, going back to the Biden-Harris days, that would be good. Sorry. I'm really tired. And look, we know you guys are tired of war too. And I really, really did not plan on having the Confederacy come back to life.
Did it? Well, the South sure did. They were so happy. And what's interesting is
as you dip into your Southern accent,
all those that were very upset about Virginia and California, and we'll talk about Virginia soon. Not a peep about the gerrymandering in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and other places.
Exactly. Yeah. You notice they like John said last night here at the bar, they're okay as long as it always goes towards the racists, the keeping the black and brown and LGBTQ and women folks down. They're fine with that. And I'm not.
Neither am I.
I'm no longer. I have given a lot of leeway to the right for a very long time, and I'm pretty much done with that now. I'm done with that because I'm sick of this. The neo-Confederates have to go. Oh, by the way, for those of you on the further left, the word neoliberalism doesn't mean anything. It is a shibboleth to you.
Think it means. It's not what you think it means.
It
kids.
is a shibboleth to you and the people who love you. Yeah.
Nothing to do with liberal.
Yeah, but you ever notice that the people who use the word neoliberalism and try to blame everything on it, them and the five friends that are around them know their meaning of it, but like people on the other side of the bar think something completely different. And I'm like, this is why it doesn't matter. But there is a meaning for neo-Confederate. They're just like the old Confederates. They're just as racist and as misogynist as they were, except now they're new and they're back. And they don't want black people and brown people to vote.
They're similar to neo-Nazis.
Yes. Once again, Jody is right. So we're talking about them. Yes, there's the stupid war over there, but we ended up talking about the other war. So we'll talk with that one. By the way, Carolyn Fiddler, obviously, one of our favorites of This Week in State House action, who's from Virginia, who knows Virginia law. She's going to be coming in here in just a little bit. And we will get a little bit more into the weeds a little bit about what the hell happened in Virginia today. But starting in the second round there, so 4 judges on the Supreme Court of Virginia struck down the redistricting amendment. Yes, the one that we were voting. So the maps that we have in place now are the same ones that we just used in 24 that'll be in place, it looks like, for 26. But there may be other ways around it, and you can damn sure bet that if there's no other way around it for 26, that the Democrats in this state are going to ram it through, just like the Republicans are doing in places like Mississippi and Tennessee. Democrats are going to ram it through. And I don't think Louise Lucas is going to be so nice about 10-1. I think this time she's going to say, screw it. Let's go 11-0. Bite me.
Yeah. I say why not? Because the Supreme Court just allowed it. As long as it's partisan, who cares?
Hey, you guys want to play that kind of a role? You want to play that kind of a game? Fine. We can play that game too.
And as much as I hate gerrymandering, and I do too. I'm with you on that. I want California to do it. I want Oregon to do it. I want Washington
Illinois
State
to do it.
I want Hawaii to do it. I want Illinois to do it. I want New York to do it. I want
every blue state, every Democratic state that can. We need to be doing it everywhere. And we need to be doing it at the state level too. For the state houses, we need to do that as much as Republicans are going to do it. We need to do it just as hard, because it's not a true cold civil war. It's kind of a warm civil war. It's not a hot civil war because we're not actually shooting each other in the streets.
Yet.
Well, kind of. I mean, Minneapolis, Alex Preddy, Renee Good. But notice Renee and Alex did not fire back. Alex actually could have because he was armed. And
he was armed. He did not even reach for his gun.
Exactly. So it's not a hot war yet. But by any normal definition, this is a civil war. And it's because... Well, and I've always thought civil war is a stupid label, because no war is civil. No, civil war. Hello, I would like to shoot you now. Is that okay? Oh, quite. Let's fire each other and blow each other's bits off. I mean, you don't. War is never civil. But in as much as we know what the term civil war means, the Confederacy is back, and they are going to have to be put down the way they should have been put down originally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Randy was saying it for years. Why did we even bother bringing the Union back together?
Randy's not even here, and she's still right.
I know, right? And I assume she's doing very well.
She's doing okay. Last time I checked, yeah.
But, good. But the thing is like, we should have really punished them better than we did.
It needed to be to the point that they would never again attempt to do the things that they are once again attempting to do. Because they are attempting to make black and brown people and LGBTQ people and women all second and third class citizens. And I'm sorry, but we're only a mostly legitimate democracy since the 60s, since the Civil Rights Act that this illegitimate Supreme Court just
all of it. Yeah.
So I hate having to do this again, but you know what? I'd hate more? Having black and brown people, women, as second-class citizens. I'm sorry.
Justin Jones burning a copy of the Confederate flag, not even an actual Confederate flag, and he still gets kicked out.
He just printed. We actually have that picture, by the way.
As if he was burning the United States flag, which is also legal. Thank you very much. But
Jody's right. Look, we've got some great pieces you guys can look through as well. Sarah Burris, who I know, I like her. She's got a great piece, up-to-date alternate, talking about the norms are gone, and they are.
Yeah.
We've gone a lot. We've governed a lot by norms, but norms are out the window.
No, we need to make them laws and constitutional amendments at this point.
Democrats, and really the broad left, we're done being nice. So if you know anybody who's a MAGA conservative, they're probably afraid, and they should be, because when you make us mad to the point where we do things,
you wouldn't like us when we're angry.
You can beg God to help you all you want. He ain't gonna come. Just saying. Not for you anyway. Anyway.
No, it's like with me. I've literally told people, said, look, it takes a long time for me to get to this point.
You and me both.
But once I literally see red.
Oh, I've done that too. Yeah, literally.
And one day, there was, long story, but a friend of mine came to my bathroom and I was up to here and he knocked on the door. I looked at him. I said, I know it's not your fault. Get out of my face.
My friend who unfortunately passed a few years back, Kevin, this was back in high school, and for some reason he decided he was in a mood that day, and he was making fun of my girlfriend, and just had gone too far, and I'd asked him to stop, and this was the third time I finally asked him to stop. And remember, this kid is about he ended up being somewhere around 6'7", I think, but I think he was about 6'2" at that point. He was easily probably over 200, probably like 250 at that point.
Big guy.
And I hauled off, and I didn't punch him. I took like a 4-foot run at him and slammed into him, and he flew about 6 feet backwards.
Yeah.
And he landed on his ass, and he was like, okay. And then our other friend, Rick, stopped me and was like, we don't need to do that. And then Kevin was like, yeah, never do that again. That hurts. And I was like, well, when I tell you to stop, I mean stop. When I say stop, you stop, or I will stop you. people go, oh. So we told you folks in the South, we told you folks in the Confederates, and there are some good people in the South. Let's.
They're definitely. I mean, Jeff, our friend, our mutual friend now, Jeff. He lives in Alabama, and he's from there.
Let's get this settled too, because we're going to talk about this more obviously when Carolyn comes in. But here's the thing: the racists in the Tennessee House that rammed this through, the racists that are in Alabama, the racists that are in Louisiana, the racist monsters that are down there, there are also a lot of really good people. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are Democrats. Some of them are not even registered. Some of them are nonpartisan or independent or whatever. Right. Some of them are still like Michael Steele for whatever reason. They, still haven't changed their registration.
This is trying to save it. Just start the Whig Party again.
Right. But there are the bad people. We know them by their actions. Mm-hmm. And they are not Americans. They are Confederates.
You are correct. They are from a different country.
Well, they are traitors.
There you go. They're traitors.
And they should be treated as such to the fullest extent of the law. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who understand what I mean when I say that, I'm not kidding. We're going to have this argument because they wanted to have it. And it's not going to end up the way anybody wanted it. But,
no, this is insane what they're...
Oh, yeah, this is so
succeeding at doing, by the way, because the Supreme Court's cool with it.
For now, this particular round. But it reminds me of since we were just talking high school, reminds me of the idiots who thought, hey, I'll race you in high school. And they think that the race is done as soon as their car got ahead.
Right.
That's literally not how it works. Either we live with rule of law and there are laws and anybody can win the contest, or we don't, in which case, God help you. So, anyway, look, we'll talk. Carolyn Fiddler is going to be coming in. We will talk about the laws, we talk about Virginia, and talk about this new American uncivil war. Karen and Anita are going to be in later. We got a great drink of the day. Yes, Coke is involved. So, there you go.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, not that. That's
not John Jr.
Yeah,
not the John Jr. thing.
It's a Friday night here at the Politics Bar. Freshen your drink and come right back. Hang on.
We'll be right back after we pay some bills at the Politics Bar.
The Bob Cesca Show.
Bob Cesca. The Iran war continues, and we're back to the process of escalating and Donald Trump's proclamations. Like, for example, he ordered the Navy to destroy any vessels laying mines in the Strait, which raises the question, why wasn't that the policy all along? Why, up to this point, he was just allowing vessels to lay mines? I guess he was. What do you think?
Thought they were laying mimes.
Yes. That's why it was so quiet. That's why it was so quiet in the Strait.
Let me just dump them all in the ocean, for God's sake. They can all get trapped in one big invisible box at the bottom of the Strait.
Today's avatar for the show is going to be AI slop of mimes in the Strait of Hormuz. I'm sorry. That's just going to have to happen. So, yeah, this is what Donald Trump posted on Truth Central.
Truth Central.
I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boats, small boats though they may be. Their naval ships are all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea, ! In parentheses, comma. That is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz.
It's mimes.
That was all one sentence, by the way.
Sorry, Marcel. Splash. Out you go.
There is to be...
Shields and Yarnell are in there, too, aren't they? Weren't they? Mimes.
There is to be no hesitation, Donald said. Additionally, our mine, quote-unquote, sweepers. So apparently sweepers is a sarcastic word. Additionally, our mine sweepers.
Well, if you're holding an invisible broom, sweeping an invisible sidewalk,
yeah,
the quotes are required. We're talking about pantomime.
Right.
Bob Cesca.
It's the Bob Cesca Show. New episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everywhere you get your podcasts, and at bobcescashow.com.
Stephanie Miller.
I get to say my favorite sentence in the entire world. Here comes Kathy Griffin, hero of democracy. Hello.
How are we going to do this? Because I know we're both going to want to talk at the same time because it's a love fest. I am so in love with you. You are so important and wonderful and funny and brilliant, and you are who I aspire to be. When I grow up, I want to be you.
No, you.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings 8 to 11 on WCPT 820.
Babes, what are you doing? What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong.
When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug.